This is one of these 6 degrees of separation games. Ironically, the teams we'll see tonight have never played before. They take care of it at the B of A, Long Beach State at Washington. Non-conference action, college hoops, right now on FSN. Hello again, along with the coach Bob Weiss. I'm Brian Davis. The Huskies are finally done with the preseason NIT. They won the play-in games here in Seattle, then lost both games in New York. So at this point, Lorenzo Romar gets a home game, then most of the week off. What's he trying to accomplish right now?
Well, they're not happy with the turnovers. They've been averaging 17 turnovers a game. They want to cut that down. The other thing they're focusing on, transition defense, getting back, preventing easy buckets. And the third thing is they're not happy with their defensive field goal percentage. They want to move that down. They're creating turnovers like they like to, but they want to keep the other team from scoring at a good percentage.
Bob, one of the things that Lorenzo Romar and his staff have to like is the play of the sophomore Quincy Pondexter, who is coming off against Syracuse, the first double-double of his collegiate career.
Right, and he had, he had 13 rebounds, he had a double-double, and to me, he is the key for them. I think with the rest of the players, you know what you're going to get, and a lot of things you're getting good things. But Pondexter, to me, has to step up and be one of the top 3. He's got to be a creator. He's got to get other people's shots. He's got to get more offensive boards the way he did in that last game against Syracuse. Then they'll be happy.
Pondexter's father and his uncle played for Long Beach State. That is just one of many connections between these programs. How about Dan Munson in his first season as the head coach of the 49ers? Munson is the guy, with all respect to Mark Few, who has done a great job of keeping it going. Munson's the guy who put Gonzaga onto the map.
Yes, he certainly did, and it took a couple programs that were less than ideal. And, now he's back at Long Beach State. He's starting over with a team that lost its top 9 scores, so they just want to get better.
Well, an almost total turnover from the Larry Reynolds days, and so Munson really had to go deep, called a lot of friends as he populated his roster at Long Beach State. A lot of guys from the Northwest, including a guy in Greg Plater, who may be his best player.
That's true. He's having, 3 starts as a true freshman this year.
The last time that we saw John Brockman in this building, Brockman had recorded a career-high 31 and 18 double-double against Utah, then came in, scored 26 against Eastern Washington. Brockman back in the house, and he's got some help. Huskies and 49ers straight ahead on FSN. College basketball on FSN is brought to you by Quest, the spirit of service. A 91-85 loss to close the preseason NIT for Washington, which out-rebounded the Syracuse Orangemen by a wide margin. 29 of Washington's 54 rebounds off the offensive glass, but the Orange got to the free throw line, took 52 shots on charity to 19 for the UW, and that was a big part of the result that we saw at Madison Square Garden in New York. For Lorenzo Romar and the Huskies, 2 true freshmen in the starting lineup. Matthew Bryan Omening is in for the second time. It was a change that Romar and his guys thought worked very, very well against Syracuse.
Well, especially it pushed Pondexter to the small forward, made him more effective on the board.
After Oklahoma State this weekend, Romar and company play 6 of their next 7 at home, including the Pac-10 opener against Washington State on the 5th. For Long Beach State, a complete makeover in this roster. We talked about Greg Plater, a freshman out of McKay High School in Salem, Oregon. Let's see, I think Artis Gant, the junior out of Pasadena, he is the most experienced man on this roster, played 26 games last year, all in reserve roles.
He's done a good job for Coach Munson, and Coach Munson is, he wants to make him beat you from the outside, and they only want to give him 1 shot. So it's a big thing to come up against when you're playing against Brockman.
Munson left the University of Minnesota, comes to Long Beach State. They won their first game last week against Idaho State, then lost to Pepperdine in overtime, a game in which they committed 23 turnovers, a work in progress indeed. The other true freshman, Vinoy Overton, working the ball off the tip. Overton, the former Player of the Year out of Franklin High School in Seattle.
You see him coming out in the zone, trying to make him shoot from the outside. There's the first one. Oh, you don't want to see that, though.
Overton dropping that bomb, only his 4th three-pointer in 15 attempts to begin the season. Defensive pressure part of the package here is played to the freshman out of Salem. Another Northwest guy, Brian Freeman, grew up in Albany, Oregon. The shot, Cornell Williams. Offensive rebound, grabbed by Gant. Talking about Gant now. Freeman got a tip drill underneath. That is something that hurt Washington in the Syracuse game. They couldn't make those putback shots. And are we staying here? No, we are not. The foul called on Williams, the junior out of San Diego, a transfer from San Diego City College.
It's good hustle by Long Beach and a nice pass, but they've got to finish off those kinds of shots.
Now, this is a team that has not shot the ball particularly well. They have so many things that they've got to change. Denton, the junior out of Carbondale, Illinois, playing a two-man game with Pondexter and finishing just inside the three-point arc. Justin Dentman averaging a team-high 31 minutes. He and Overton, the 2-point guards, lead this team in minutes played.
Right, here you see a nice pull-up, and he could have gotten fouled on that shot.
And Overton, wow, he's going to get the over and back call on Plater, and he bumped Plater.
Yeah.
Those guys, by the way, know each other from AAU ball. So they have a word afterward, and Overton knows he got away with one.
Yeah, he pushed him into the backcourt.
Williams shuts him down on the wing. Denton takes a step inside, shoots underneath Plater, rebound to John Brockman.
You know, you want to close out on shooters, but you don't want to jump in the air. He let Denton take a dribble and get closer on both shots.
Brockman sneaks inside looking for Brockman. He plays the dummy. They'd call that in soccer all the way through to Pondexter. A lot of time on the shot clock. No reason to rush, although on this end of the floor, Romar wants his guys to play faster. Brockman, the catch misses the short.
Well, a lot of times that zone will slow you down. You may want to play fast, but if you're going to get a good shot against that zone, you got to move the ball.
Brockman only attempted 9 field goals against Syracuse the other night, and Pondexter in that defense forcing Artis Gant to call timeout. It'll be a 30 for Long Beach State. 49ers have led at the half their last 3 games, but let's go back to the last time they played somebody of this class, their season opener. They only managed 34 points in the season opening loss to Brigham Young.
Well, they're up against that again tonight with a pressured defense, and Coach Munson doesn't feel he's got a true point guard on the team. So the defensive pressure that Washington exerts on everyone is going to be especially devastating tonight, I think.
So you're looking at a team that was 24-8 last year, 12-1 in the Big West, and you go, why did Larry Reynolds go away? Well, his contract expired, and there were basically philosophical differences between Reynolds and members of the athletic administration. So in comes Munson, who you alluded to, the fact that he's got a program here that he's got to fix. Had a program at Minnesota. I asked him this morning, Bob, I said, are you a little bit of a masochist? And he laughed and he said, maybe, just maybe.
Well, if he wasn't, he's developing into one.
Yeah, Plater trying to tie up Pondexter, can't get it done. On the wing, Overton for Brian Ammoning, who takes a step, and that was something that Romar worked with Brian Ammoning on today, getting the ball in or near the block and not traveling or turning it over.
Well, you know, as a guard, that time he got the ball a little too far away from the basket. You don't want to give it to him there. Let them get close into their scoring area, then you deliver.
Underneath Plater on the run. Double teamed, actually almost triple teamed as the Washington defense collapsed. Pondexter steps inside, skip past Overton. Denton will shoot at any time and wants them to think that the miss and the rebound, the put back for Brian Ammoning. That's why he's in there. They like him on the offensive glass, and he had 5 of those offensive boards against Syracuse last week. Here, Freeman, count the basket, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Okay, here on this play, watch the pressure. You'll see a backdoor cut here. They don't care because they are always going to have that weak side defender come over and pick you up. So, you know, you're cutting a backdoor cut. You catch the ball. All of a sudden, you're turning to the hoop. Half the time, that's a charge on you.
At the free throw line, Brian Freeman, a junior out of Albany, Oregon, went to West Albany High School, spent some time at Clackamas Community College, where he was the MVP of that junior college conference tournament last year. They actually beat Bellevue Community College in the playoffs a year ago. Overton throws it away.
They extended their zone that time to a little over half court.
Long Beach State has actually attempted 6 field goals, and Gant goes to the rack and is fouled. He'll take a couple of free throws, 1 of 7. They won't count the shot. Washington off to a 3 of 6 start from the floor, 1 of 6 for Long Beach State. And again, field goal accuracy has been a problem. Tim Morris now checks in. Morris, the senior out of Atlanta, the transfer from Stanford, whom Lorenzo Romar says he's really starting to come on. He's doing some things defensively that don't necessarily show up in the stat sheet. But Morris is a guy who Romar feels may be about to pop above the line.
Well, he is just one of those guys that doesn't hurt you. He comes in, plays nice, solid basketball. But that was a nice drive by Gant. Whenever you're going to receive pressure like this, one way to beat it, it's hard to execute your offense. So just go ahead and drive, get to the hoop, make something happen for yourself or someone else.
Washington against Syracuse had trouble shooting over the zone. Morris, though, no problem. The difference, of course, is that the Orange have some really big guys. Long Beach State not nearly as tall nor as wide, and so it's a lot easier for Washington to defeat that zone.
Well, and I think that the mistake Long Beach players are making is they're running too hard at the ball. They're allowing a penetration. If you just close out, they want them to shoot from the outside, but they don't want you can't let them penetrate on that, because it opens you up not only for layups but for offensive rebound.
Another rebound from Cornell Williams in transition. Here comes Maurice Clay, a true freshman out of San Diego, and on the reverse, Williams finishes along the baseline. Nice move for Williams.
That was a nice one. He used the rim for protection, took it to the weak side,
and Gant picks Overton's pocket. Tie ball game. Three turnovers for the Huskies. Just one so far for the 49ers of Long Beach State. Jordan Smith placed in the starting lineup by Brian Ammoning. Overton gets a handle on the ball, skips it out to Smith. Long drop from 3. Count it.
And that, again, all because of penetration. Make the guy with the ball shoot it. Just keep him in front of you.
4 assists on 5 made baskets now for the Huskies.
And that's what you want. You want a lot of it. That's a good ratio. In fact, it's an excellent ratio. You want, at least 60% of your field goals to be having assists tied up with them. Otherwise, you're just struggling to get a shot off.
Clady carried the basketball. Time taken. Washington had some trouble with the 3 ball at Madison Square Garden, but not tonight. They've made a couple and lead early by 3.
Okay. Yeah, about where you were. If we have time for that. Right there, yeah, okay. Throw it over here a second. Go ahead, make the throw. Let him make the throw. All right, then pause that. Right. Yeah, just before that. Yeah, just a half a second before that. Right. Yep. See, they're rotating. I would even start it when Morris had the ball, threw it over, threw it back, then into the corner. Thank you. Yep, right. Yeah, right to here. That's good. Don't start it till I get it. Okay. It was late last time.
Brian Davis and Bob Weiss in Seattle, where Washington has scored 5 field goals by 5 different players. That's the kind of distribution that Romar and company wanted.
Right, and here you'll see the zone that's keeping the ball outside, but I'll show you the mistakes they're making in this zone. If we go ahead and run it here, they're rotating, they're keeping the ball in front of them. So far, so good. Now right here, they run right at a player and let him penetrate. Now you're all in trouble, because he's going to come in here, he's going to hit a big. You got to collapse your defense, and that gives you the kind of shot you do not want your opponents to get.
Joe Wolfinger is on the floor now. Justin Dentman is also back in. So Wolfinger, Brockman, Smith, Dentman, and Morris for Washington. Lady, Freeman, Donovan Morris. The alley-oop for Smith won't go, but Brockman wisely tips it back out to Dentman to start it again. This time it's Morris's turn. He's long. Brockman, another offensive rebound, this time to put back. You want a job done, do it yourself.
That's John Brockman. And you saw that was a nice play against the zone. You swing the ball and you let a guy run the baseline from the weak side. They just couldn't quite make it happen. You see Brockman in the lower right, gets a rebound. Good finesse finish.
No, you're good. You're good.
Cornell
no,
Williams.
Solid.
Picked up by Brockman. Dentman comes out against Donovan Morris. Clady looking inside. Freeman tries to reverse, but he's trying to shoot over the 7-footer Wolfinger. That doesn't work so well.
Well, and again, you saw them backdoor the wing, but they don't care because they rotate so well from that baseline. You're almost in more trouble sometimes.
Wolfinger on the block. Good ball movement. Smith from 3 again. Count it. 2 out of 2 beyond the arc is Joel Smith, the junior out of Lompoc, California. 8 unanswered points now for the Dogs.
It's another way to break the zone. Throw the ball inside, make them collapse a little bit. And Wolfinger is so big, he can make a nice, direct pass against that zone.
Darnell Porter, redshirt freshman from Long Beach, on the floor. Williams with the ball in his hands. Clady was calling for the ball. Didn't get it. Seemed a little disgusted. But Freeman, did he call backboard? Counts for 3 one way or the other.
He did not call it. You're right. It still counts.
Freeman's first 3-point shot. He'd only attempted 2 the first 4 games.
Kind of looked like he might have meant it, but you don't usually try and bank a 3 for me.
Dentman has the defender run by Brian Porter. Dentman says, fine, thanks very much. You leave me that much room and I will put it down. 20-12 now.
They are shooting the ball very well. And when they're missing, they're getting the offensive rebound.
Clady hit a half-court shot at Pepperdine last week that forced overtime in what turned out to be a 9-point loss. And playing a little bit out of control. Seems to be an emotional player, which can be good, but not too much. Brockman with the steal and the bunny.
Speaking of emotional players, there's John Brockman.
For the 2nd year on the candidates list for the John Wooden Award. Which went last week to some guy named Durant. Inside, Brockman gets his hand on the pass inside, meant for Williams. Morris in transition, he'll back it out. Didn't like what he saw inside. Thought about this, and wow, with Morris leaping at him. Donovan Morris, Tim Morris knocks down the jumper. Washington has outscored Long Beach State 15-2 since they were last tied at 9.
And, they're just playing good offensive basketball. They're getting steals. They're making all the plays on the breaks. But they are shooting the ball tremendously from the outside.
Brockman averaging 20 points and 12 rebounds, but don't overlook his defense.
No, there's the overplay, the pressure paying off for an easy bucket.
And then Tim Morris. We were just talking about Morris.
Little ball fake, steps back. That's a tough shot to make. Usually when guys pass up that first one, their percentage goes way down. But, he's got nothing but net.
Morris scored 9 points against Syracuse on 4 of 8 shooting in 21 minutes. Balance. Let's go a little farther with that. When you look at the Texas A&M game, where Brockman was 9 of 21, Dentman is 3 of 12, and the other 3 starters in that lineup were 4 out of 10 combined. Andrew Fleming, the 7-footer, dishing to Darnell Porter. He'll get an assist as Porter knocks down the triple.
Nice execution on that play. Drilling a 3.
3 assists on only 5 field goals for Long Beach State. They're 5 out of 12. Huskies are 10 out of 15. That's a pretty good clip. And Dentman shows and then puts it up. Wow, like playing pinball. Hard fall, and the 3-point shot falls for Smith as Plater stayed on the floor and left Long Beach State playing 4 on defense.
They're putting on a shooting clinic out here. They should take long plane rides more often.
Greg Plater is a first-team All-Stater. Mixed up scoring and defense with his ability to dish the basketball, and he puts Artis Gant on the free throw line. Huskies, though, in control mid-first half at the B of A. You okay? Can I take you anywhere?
Just show this last play out of the huddle.
You know, at some point I'd like to talk about, this might lead us to a good conversation about sort of the rhythm, you know. I mean, you're used to playing so fast and you're used to playing in transition, and then when you get into a half-court situation, you have to adjust yourself a little bit in the pace of your play, the tempo of your play.
Yeah, that's good right there. Now, who are you talking about having trouble adjusting?
At either end of the floor, Washington. But I'll save that. I'll refine that. I won't give it to you that way.
Right.
It really has more to do with when they're playing offense. Thank you. Right on. With the coach Bob Weiss, Brian Davis, college hoop on FSN. Let's take a look at Plater's handiwork bringing this ball into play for Long Beach State.
This is great execution, a play out of the huddle. You throw it to the right side, make a fake cut here. The big man follows him down. Just great timing, good pass, good pick, good shot.
49ers are 5 out of 12 from the floor, 2 of 3 from 3. They have been stuck on 5 rebounds for a long time. You want to talk about history? And here we have another 6 degrees of separation. Tarkanian was there, obviously. Olsen, when he left Northwestern, Tex Winter came to Long Beach State. That, of course, after he spent a couple of years, 3 years, as Marv Harshman's immediate predecessor as the head coach here at the University of Washington.
Some basketball names for you?
Just a few.
You know, you talked about rebounds. There just aren't many rebounds here. Washington's not missing the ball. They're 11 for 17 from the field.
They've also had the last 7 rebounds now.
Yeah. They're starting to dominate on that.
By the way, why is Tex Winter not in the Hall of Fame? Guy wins 9 championships as an assistant with Phil Jackson in Chicago and Los Angeles with the Lakers. And he can't get a sniff. I just don't understand that.
Well, don't ask me. I'm not in the committee.
See if we can get you on the committee.
I'll give him a vote, but it's not going to mean much.
And not to be overlooked, his 454 collegiate victories as well. Adrian Oliver on the floor, hemmed in.
I gave him one of his defeats.
Oh, is that right? Pondexter.
Was he Kansas? Kansas State.
Kansas State.
Nice try there.
Yeah, Wolfinger. Pondexter had his hands on it. Wolfinger goes in to clean it up, and he's got a chance to finish a 3-point play.
Great drive. Little volleyball pass. Yeah, Penn State.
I want to hear that story.
We played them in the Sunflower Classic when I was in college back at Penn State.
How about that?
Beat them by 2 points.
Denman, great recovery on defense, denying Plater. Oliver in transition, a little bit long. Rebound for Porter. Long Long Beach State. Plater spots up, fires over Dentman. Andrew Fleming, the 7-footer out of Cypress, California, cannot hang on to it. Basketball out of bounds in the fresh 35 of the 49ers.
See how they execute this one.
Left leg up. Left leg up.
Munson has gone deep into his bench. Here's Porter. Another takeaway.
Hustle. Well, they got him out of that zone. They were scoring so well in it. They made him get into man-to-man. See if this works better. Here we go. Great defensive effort. Good overplay. Dive for the ball out of bounds. You know that makes Romar happy. And he wants to leave this game happy. You know, they had a game against Eastern Washington, which they won, but it was kind of like a reverse moral victory. They feel they won that game because of more talent than anything they did that they were trying to accomplish on the basketball floor. So they want to leave tonight playing good defense, shooting the ball well, helping each other. 7
different Huskies have scored. Joel Smith with 3 3-pointers, leads all scorers with 9 points. 7 Long Beach State turnovers forced by the Huskies. Here's Porter. Looks inside. Pondexter gets some help from Oliver. Tough shot. Wolfinger bats the rebound to Oliver. 3-on-1 for Washington. Pondexter is fouled by the Lithuanian Arturas Lasdauskas.
I think Overton had a layup there, but the point guard in him came out. Here you see the rebound. Nice pass. Had the layup. One too many. But Pondexter gets to the line.
On the other hand, can you fault the guy for unselfish play?
No. That's contagious. You don't get mad at those.
Okay, you want
the guy pulls a bad shot, then you can get mad.
You want to run your quiz again. What's different this year? The fact that now on free throws, the nearest defender to the basket has got to be above the block.
Got to be above the block this year. Takes a lot of the body sumo wrestling out of the rebounding on the free throw.
Take a look as Brian Ammoning off the missed free throw, finishing it as the Huskies clean it up again. 11 rebounds. This time Wolfinger gets in the way. Tough shot by Porter. Fleming, the 7-footer, gets that one to drop. And the one thing, of their 10 rebounds, about half of them have been off the offensive glass. Wolfinger likes the 3 ball. He's long here. Well, out of bounds to Washington.
They got to get the rebounds off their glass because there's still misses down the other end.
Washington is shooting the basketball at a 59% clip. 35% for Long Beach State, and there's the result right there, that score. Both these teams have more offensive rebounds than defensive boards. Washington with 7 helping contribute to 11 second chance points. FSN, your destination for college basketball all season long, and not just the Pac-10. But also our friends on the other side of the state at Eastern Washington at Gonzaga. Big game between Washington State and the Zags coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Oregon has recovered from its loss to St. Mary's. How about Jay John and the Beavers recovering from a couple of early losses to Win-3 State? And then Gonzaga is rolling. And the way things are shaping up right now with just 1 loss between them, Bob, that matchup between those 2 schools in Spokane is going to be a dandy, and yet another putback for Brian Ammoning.
Brian Ammoning, very aggressive rebounder. You know, you put him out there with Brockman, any team's got their hands full on the offensive board. But December 5th, I know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be by television.
Williams with the miss. Oliver with the rebound for Washington. 6 of 18, 33% shooting for Long Beach State, which comes into this game 1-3. And again, a complete makeover. All 5 starters gone. In fact, 10 guys that were on that team that won the Big West last year are gone. This guy gives you hope for the future. Greg Plater looks inside for Cornell Williams. Back out to Morris. Oliver bothering him, and now all of a sudden what looked to be a good transition opportunity. What are they doing here?
Well, Morris looks around and says, why do we only have 4 people?
No middle.
But Gant was down the other end adjusting a shoe, I believe.
Oops. Well, in the end, it works out well because Gant, with that newly tied shoe,
Said I got here in time.
comes in and knocks one down, but Brockman at the other end says, I'll see you one and raise it.
Speaking of shoes, he had his track shoes on. That was a sprint. You know, that's what's tough to match up with. You know, you're trying to get a strong guy, a big guy that can match up with Brockman, and then Brockman is so good in transition. He runs up the floor so well.
Now, Gant might not have been a shoe. He might need some kind of a physical repair, and he goes off. Dan Munson, you know, I think he got a shot down under that basket on the slam.
Yeah, I think he was hurt. I don't know what it was. They're looking. There might be a little blood or blurred vision. I don't know what it was.
Too. They might be giving him the how many fingers test. Let's take a look at Brockman's work.
Here's Brockman sprinting. Oh, hard to keep up with. Boom.
You know, I do think that Artis Gant is a little bit woozy. I think that's exactly what happened. He got blasted as the Washington Huskies brought it up in transition. Brockman nearly steals another one. Williams driving and is charged with the offensive foul.
No.
No, wait, hold on.
No. Count it.
Do count that basket.
It's going to be an and one.
The way that Mark Reichling was walking away, he started to make that kind of punching motion with his fist, but you take a look and
yeah, but I think he was punching down like here's the backdoor cut. Now, one thing they've done is they lift their whole offense higher to eliminate that weak side coming in and drawing the foul.
Pondexter was one of 4 Huskies to foul out of the ball game against Syracuse. That was brutal. Some of the officiating in that game, I normally don't chew on the Zebras because they do a pretty good job, but that was really bad.
Well, that's when they're Zebras, but if they have orange jerseys on, then it's different.
Then you got a mismatch. And
I didn't see the game. I could only.
all you got to do is look at the stat sheet. Washington has 25 offensive rebounds, 54 total, but Syracuse takes 52 free throws to 19. 4 guys foul out. I told Romar he got a technical foul in that game, and I told him this morning, I said, you know, I think I'd have gotten my tee a little bit faster than you did.
No, see the ball. No.
Off of Long Beach State, another turnover. That would be 8 on the game. Washington has turned the ball over 5 times. Huskies are forcing 19 turns a game.
Well, they play pressure defense. They play the passing lanes. They come very well from the weak side. I think that they get more charging draws than any club I think I've seen in college basketball.
Brockman, Plater got a piece of that.
I don't know if he did or if he got something bad happened. Is either a block on the way up or.
Well, let's give the dude some credit.
He slipped. Yeah, let's say he got it.
Freeman to Plater. A little bit long. Brockman yet another rebound. And here we go. 2-on-1 for the Dogs. Overton is going to go to the free throw line as Plater. Again, a couple of guys, they know each other from AAU ball, but Plater fouls Overton, putting Benoit Overton on the line for 2.
You know, I think against anybody else he would have made that pass, but he wanted to score against his old buddy, so he took it to the hoop.
Plater's first. Overton, 21 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals a game last year as the Class 4A Player of the Year in the state of Washington for the champion Franklin Quakers.
And the thing I like about him coming into this game as a freshman, 26 assists with only 13 turnovers. Nice ratio. You know, it's not tremendous, but I think for a freshman that's pretty good.
Well, and he takes heat off of Denton.
Right, he makes Denton's job easier.
And as a result, Justin, Denton's assist to turnover ratio is dramatically better this year.
Oh, his is very good.
Nice pass inside and a good finish for Donovan Morris. Puts it on the floor and splits the Washington defense.
Yeah, Denton's assist to turnover ratio is 21-8, so he's doing a good job.
Denton, a little leaner, tough shot. Denton is feeling it. He's only shooting 38% from the floor this year, but he's also averaging, well, he had 16 points against Syracuse the other night. And again, that assist to turnover. He had 5 helpers in that game and only 1 turn. Pondexter bothering the shooter Williams, and away comes Washington. Over to Buck Brockman, a little bit by surprise. John was deep, and he said, "Why'd you pass it? Shoot it."
Well, that's a kind where I think with experience, you want him to push the ball like that. But if you don't have it, that's when the experience shows up. When a point guard will pull the ball back out and say, "All right, set up."
Overton, Brian Ammoning, Brockman, Morris, and Denton on the floor for Washington. Brian Freeman throws the ball up the basket, and a foul is called. Brandon Johnson, their number 22, junior out of Vancouver, Washington, went to Mountain View High School and then spent some time at Lamar Community College in Colorado. Johnson will get the chance on charity.
You know, not a bad foul by Dentman. Dentman was outside him. He had to rotate down, and he knew he was going to get the rebound. So, hey, it's 1-on-1. I'm going to take the foul. Nice foul by Dentman.
Knocked out of bounds, and wow. That's Long Beach State ball.
No.
No.
He was I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Washington has split its 18 rebounds evenly. 9 off the offensive glass. 6 of Long Beach State's 13 have been off the offensive boards. John Brockman with 6 points on 3 out of 5 shooting, 4 rebounds, and also a couple of steals at the defensive end.
I think Washington State's actually done a good job on Brockman offensively in the half-court offense. He still scored out of the flow of the game, but he's not getting any post-ups where he can take advantage of people. They're doing a good job. Justin
Holiday is on the floor, the freshman out of Chatsworth, California. Brockman is sealed off the ball. The rebound to Freeman. Here come the 49ers in transition. Artis Gant, leading scorer with 7 points for the 49ers. Inside to Donovan Morris. Put back, punched out. Nice job by Brandon Johnson.
Well, Washington State has missed about 5 shots from inside of 3 feet.
You know, it's actually been a problem on both sides here. Nice drive for Gant. Go to the rack. Can't get it to fall. Freeman has the ball batted away by Brian Ammoning. Denton behind the back. I got a little something for you. And Freeman nearly blocked it. We talk about missing those bunnies. That belongs to Long Beach State as Brockman cannot finish on the putback. Dentman, man, he was putting on a little clinic down there. I'm going to show you this move, now I'll show you that move, and the most important move, though, is the finish.
Yes, I agree. I think he might have gotten hit too, though.
Long Beach State gets an easy basket. Brian Freeman did a great job of getting inside the defense. Good pass by Gant.
It was, and what they're doing is they're bringing their whole offense up to the free throw line to give room to throw those backdoor passes, either from the wing or right from the post.
A little bit of momentum now for the 49ers. Dan Monson had to turn the roster over. Team finished 24-8. Won the conference last year, went to the NCAA tournament. Freeman finds Johnson. Brian Ammoning with the close, but a good shot, tough shot for Brandon Johnson.
And Long Beach State finally made one of the close ones.
Johnson is one of those 3 Northwest guys that we were talking about. And that one doinks off Freeman. Brian Ammoning will go to the free throw line. Johnson started his collegiate career at Boise State, burned his red shirt.
Now watch where their offense is. Everybody is above the free throw line. Now there's nobody to cover those backdoor cuts, even if it's from the top like that or from the wing. And that's one of the reasons I think Long Beach State's turnovers are down a little bit from when they first started the game.
Huskies have missed their last 5 field goal attempts. As you take a look at Matt, Brian Ammoning, I said today, what do you like to be called? Matthew, Matt. What do you think he said? Ah, whatever you want. I said, well, what does your mother call you? She says both. He says both. Thanks for the help.
Right back where you started.
That's exactly right. Oh, look at it. And probably Matthew when she's upset with him. And there
Matthew.
he gets. Yeah, well, and matter of fact, Lorenzo Romar may be saying that right now because Brian Amening has called for the foul, his first personal. That check that is second.
But you don't like to foul a guy at 40 feet.
Well, yeah.
And give him an opportunity at 2 points from 40 feet.
I'll tell you what, you look at the way he's built, and he is so strong. His upper body, he replaces Joel Smith in the lineup, and as you pointed out, he can get down there and play the 4 and let Pondexter go out and play the 3 on the wing.
Right. A lot of times when you're a guy like Pondexter and you're playing down a position, it can really be to your advantage because the guy is not quick enough to defend you. But if you're not a guy that can stick that 20-footer, all of a sudden you lose all the advantage in that matchup. And I think that's what's been happening to Cliff. He's tried to play against bigger people, and he can't really drill that outside shot enough to punish them.
Understand who here is defending Benoit Overton. He's done a nice job of getting to the free throw line. He is 5 out of 6, and the Huskies turn it over again. They have missed their last half-dozen field goal attempts. They have now turned the ball over 7 times.
Well, you knew they had to cool down a little bit, but they're getting a little sloppy with it, too.
Now Wolfinger, nice save by Overton, blocking ahead to Dentman, and he will shoot a pair. That's where you need to be wearing your helmet if you're working camera down there under the basket.
Well, the important thing is he saved the camera.
That's exactly right. Shoot, they don't care about you. You know how much those cameras cost?
Oh. You think we're going to get any more good shots from any of these cameramen now?
You know, Santos on the near side there. He's the one who just took the charge, and Bobby on the other side. They got it. They got it done. Yeah, they're fearless. That's why they pay those guys the big bucks. Yeah, they see they're both laughing.
Yeah,
I talk about big bucks. This is broadcasting, right? Dentman misses the first free throw and the second. The Huskies are 4 out of 9 on charity.
Well, they get this under 10 going into the locker room. They're going to feel pretty good.
Well, you know, when you have the kind of makeover that Munson is in the middle of, you got to look for a kind of guy, and fearless has got to be part of that makeup. And look at Johnson with the offensive board and the finish again. And all of a sudden, Johnson has made a couple of baskets. He's got 4 points. It's an 8-2 run for Long Beach State.
You know, one thing you got going for you when you're recruiting with a down program like this, you're in a great area, you're in Los Angeles, you got warm weather, good recruiting tool, but you can tell a kid, hey, if you come here, you got a great chance of starting and as a freshman, and that appeals to kids.
Fleming does a great job of knocking the ball away, intended for Brockman, and the 49ers have got a chance to finish this on a high note. The miss, Pondexter, not quite, but an 8-2 run for the 49ers after the Huskies had started out the basketball game shooting inside, outside 59%. They're at 49 for the half, and Long Beach State has closed within 8 at the break here in Seattle. College basketball and FSN brought to you by Sterling Savings Bank, the perfect fit bank. We talk about player rotations. Lorenzo Romar, and for that matter, Dan Munson, each used 10 players in the first half. Most of them got at least 8 minutes. Joel Smith got the Huskies off to a good start with 3 early three-pointers.
Yeah, he was stroking it, and he was getting, you know, his feet were set, making nice plays. And then Brian Manning doing some nice things inside. All 3 of his rebounds were offensive in the first half.
Matthew Brian Amening with 8 points and those 3 offensive rebounds. Good size inside. You take a look at the leaderboard, and there is Smith. John Brockman with 6 points on 3 of 6 shooting. Also with 5 rebounds. That is a game high, which he shares with Daryl Porter of the 49ers. Artis Gant, their leading scorer. He was strong down the stretch.
Yeah, here you see him on a steal. And then you see him on a nice drive. Now watch him come out of this. I think this is where he hurt his eye. I see him grab his eye right there. He must have caught an elbow in there.
Brian Freeman, they got some good plays out of the bigs, and one of the Northwest guys, Freeman, had a role in the comeback.
And there you saw them lift the defense and throw it over the top. You know, this is an amazing game statistically. Both teams 21 rebounds. Not only that, but both of them with 10 offensive and 11 defensive. And then the shots are pretty close. The spot that Washington is winning this game is on the three-point line so far, because the turnovers evened out to 9 and 8.
Well, the Huskies did not make a field goal the last 4.5 minutes of the half as Long Beach State erased what had been an 18-point Huskies lead.
Yeah, I thought we'd be pulling the plug on this one early, but we got a ball game here going in the second half.
You know, one of the things that, if there's a downside to it, is that we had so many things planned. We've got Dan Munson's dad, Don, is in the stands tonight. We're going to talk to him. Here's Freeman guarded by Brockman. Pass inside, and the floater for Donovan Morris, who leads the 49ers. He plays 39 minutes a game.
Oh, yeah.
Here you see that nice, that's a nice pull up there. And of course, when a team's making a run, it makes it harder to make those jump shots. When you had the confidence.
And Greg Plater, a little bit out of control.
I think he was trying to draw a foul there. He tried to run in, get contact, and throw the ball up, which I'd say that's a 50-50 chance of getting that call when it happens.
Freeman working on Brian Omening, and Brian Omening getting to the free throw line. That's one thing that he has done fairly well. The Huskies only 4 of 9.
And Brian made both of his. Brian Omening made both of his in the first half.
His first start against Syracuse, 4 out of 11 from the floor. You know, work in progress applies. We talked about earlier, we talked about Romar's work trying to get him to avoid traveling, turning the ball over. 37% field goal shooter, 2 of 10 from the line before this game tonight, where he is 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. The one he missed, though, hit the backboard first. That was not a good shot.
Freeman, the big guy, all the way outside. Brockman freezes him. Here's Plater out of Salem. Cornell Williams, they got a 2-man game going out top. Gant steps inside. Overton can't get the shot to fall, but look at that. Williams comes and takes it away from Brian Omening.
Long Beach State still having trouble with those point-blank shots.
Joel Smith will be called for the foul. His first.
And again, good pressure release drive. When the guy's in your chest like that, take it to the hoop, draw the foul.
Long Beach State is shooting only 36% from the floor.
Plater, you know, that 36% is what they're shooting as a team for the year. So this is not.
Oh, count it.
Morris on a terrifically athletic play.
And a chance at a 3-point play as he's fouled
Good
by
drive.
Brian Omening.
He gets tripped. Has to finish over Brian Omening.
3 fouls now on the freshman from Surrey, England, who prepped at South Kent in Connecticut. He was the state player of the year. Donovan Morris, junior out of San Bernardino, transfer from Fresno State. You see his numbers. He leads them in minutes, points, and rebounds, even though he's only shooting 29% for the season coming into this ball game.
Yeah, that's an amazing stat, and it's not a good one when your leading scorer is shooting 29%. You're not going to score well.
Williams tries to draw the charge on Brockman. Nothing doing. Brockman knocks another one down. He's got 8 points.
And that's the first time I can remember them throwing the ball to Brockman and letting him operate on the post. They've done a great job of keeping it away from him.
Brockman.
You know, I wonder if Romar knows that Brian Manning has 3 fouls, because he was down there talking to a player after that play. He may not have realized it. I know if somebody gets their 4th, he's going to say, what?
Now he's got guys on the bench that are supposed to keep track of that sort of thing. I'm going to assume that somebody has let him know, but in the meantime, don't look now, but Long Beach State is within a half dozen with possession. Pondexter had a double-double against Syracuse. Not quite so flashy tonight. Williams from 3. It's a 1-possession game.
This is given. You know, I don't know if you can see that bench over there, but boy, are they getting into it. Here you see the draw and kick. If you have pressure, drive it to the hoop, draw somebody away, and that stand and shoot shot is a high percentage shot.
Quincy Pondexter, coming off that double-double, has not made a field goal tonight. He's had 1 free throw go down. Morris on the putback staunches the bleeding, at least for the moment.
You know, Morris got that one, but Brockman locked it loose.
Oh, on the stop and go, Gant finally winds up with Freeman for the assist. Freeman with 10 points. He is the only man in this game in double-figure scoring.
Nice pass there by Quincy. That's what he's got to do. Drive, set other people up. Because he's capable of creating shots for not only himself, but for other people.
Porter called for the foul, 35. A fresh 35 for Washington.
They're out there arguing about who's supposed to take it out of this play. And the 5-second clock started out, and Brockman just ran over, got it through it in. Back into his zone, are they? Nope. Man-to-man.
Denton curling, runs into Brockman and travels.
You know, I don't think he moved his pivot foot. I think he ran into Brockman, stumbled, and moved that right foot twice.
Lorenzo Romar wants time. 3.5 minutes into the second half. What had been an 8-point Washington lead at the break is down to 3. They were up 18, but Long Beach State under Dan Munson says, hello, Seattle. So, for those of you who have just come away from the lowest scoring Monday Night Football game in history, Steelers over the Dolphins, 3-0. Welcome back to the real world. College basketball on FSN. Brian Davis, Bob Weiss. We take a look around the Pac-10. UCLA is off to a nice start. Kevin Love out of Lake Oswego, Oregon, near Portland, the Pac-10 Player of the Week. That was John Brockman's honor last week. USC with O.J. Mayo also looking good. Big win over Southern Illinois. Lute Olson remains on his leave of absence at Arizona. Kevin O'Neill has been the head coach. And then this week in the Pac-10, take a look at the matchups we've got for you. Oklahoma and USC, Kansas and USC on Sunday, and then Arizona taking on Texas A&M. FSN, your destination for Pac-10 and college hoops in general all season long. Glad to have you along tonight.
Coach Romar goes to a zone here. Long Beach has come out and hit 4 out of 6, their first 6 shots this half.
Morris right now on Gant. Gets it back from Williams, drives inside. He's a little bit off. Brockman tipping the rebound, but the cleanup, Freeman finding Darnell Porter.
That was a nice heads-up play there. You get the ball and the rebound and just tap it to a man who's open. There it was.
Freeman now picking up Ryan Omning. Freeman tonight 6 rebounds to go along with 10 points. Brian Freeman 12.7 rebounds at Pepperdine, keeping it going here tonight against Washington. It's a 1-point game. One point is all that separates Washington and upset-minded Long Beach State at the Bank of America Arena. Catch the 2007 WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires Gridiron Classic Friday and Saturday here on FSN. Friday night, Skyline and O'Day in the 3A title game. Saturday night, Bothell against Lewis and Clark in the 4A championship, the WIAA High School Football Championships on FSN. Steve Groff, right there, head football coach, very successful at Pasco. Great league, the Big Nine down in the Tri-Cities and that part of Washington State. Not real happy that he is not in the title game, but he's also, by the way, Dan Munson's brother-in-law, Justin Dentman, turning this back into a 2-possession game.
Well, they went into a zone again, and that's how it started out, with Dentman hitting a 3 against the zone, I think. Beginning of the game, didn't it?
I think so. Dentman 4 out of 9, 2 out of 4 from 3. First Husky in double digits scoring, and we're going the other way. Freeman has had a good night. Night like this, though, with this team still in formation, Freeman and his teammates almost have to play perfectly, and there have been stretches where they kind of did.
Yeah, they have.
Going the other way. Foul off the ball against John Brockman.
John Brockman backing up a little too much into his defender.
That's his first of the night. Brockman fouled out the other night, but I thought a couple of those fouls in the Syracuse game were very ticky-tack. He was using his lower body, backing into guys with his behind and not being overly assertive or aggressive doing so, but they still actually 2 quick fouls on him. That's what got Romar his technical at Madison Square Garden. Look at that. Brockman says, all right, it's time to stop this. Dentman in transition. Ooh, everybody ran right by him. Says, okay, I'll finish this myself.
Just like you draw it up.
Yeah.
I think he missed his left wingman for a layup. Then he got caught with the ball. So when in doubt, shoot.
Dentman, Brockman, Bryan, Ammoning, Morris, and Pondexter on the floor for Washington. Darnell Porter, Gant, Williams. Here's Gant for 3. Count that one.
Freeman's a nice passer out of the post. He has a good feel for the game. He threw one away, you know, a play ago, but it was he saw an opening, and it was just a miscommunication.
Freeman out there on the floor also, and Donovan Morris for Long Beach State. Dentman, the fall away. He's made 3 consecutive baskets now for the Huskies.
And one of them was a 3, so 7 points.
And Donovan Morris thought twice about that. Still a lot of time for the 49ers to try to solve this Washington zone. 8 consecutive points for Justin Dentman. 5-point lead for Washington, and Dan Munson calls timeout. It'll be a 30.
Well, he didn't like what his team was doing, execute against that zone, so he called a timeout to straighten that out, let him know how he wants to attack it. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come out, where they throw the ball, and what they're trying to accomplish on this next 15 seconds.
Washington, look at Dentman. Just a little fisheye lens. Great look at Dentman's handiwork. Will adjust it. He's had 7 consecutive points on 3 straight baskets, and suddenly Justin Dentman leading all scorers with 14 points on 6 of 11 shooting. Washington has, at one point, the Huskies had out-rebounded Long Beach State by a significant margin, but right now it's 24 aside. 49ers are not a lot smaller than the Huskies. Donovan Morris driving on Tim Morris, kicks it back out again into the double team. Pondexter got in his way. That's a shot clock violation. Good help defense by Washington, forcing the turnover on the shot clock.
Right, they tried to run a pick down against the zone on the weak side, but Washington fought through it, read it well, ended up getting the violation.
10th turnover of the night for the 49ers, who average about 17 turns a game. Dentman Why not? When you're hot, you're hot.
Somebody better run over and pinch him. He thinks he's dreaming.
Another 3-ball for Denman. 10 consecutive points for the Dogs.
Here it is again. Boom.
This is a guy who was 4 out of 20 from 3 coming into the game, and he's made 3 tonight on 5 attempts. Donovan Morris checked out in the high post, out to Gant, drops another 3. Artis Gant, the junior out of Pasadena, California, 15 points.
Long Beach State's not blinking.
One of the things that Dan Munson really does instill in his players is a confidence. I talked to Greg Plater this morning at the shoot-around, and I said, why do you like playing for this guy? And he said, because he wants to win.
Well, he's done it in the past, and I can't see any reason that he wouldn't turn this program around.
Five-point lead for Washington mid-second half at the Bank of America Arena in Seattle. Long Beach State not going away, and there's a guy here who's got a little more than a vested interest in watching his son Dan coach the 49ers. Don Munson, longtime fixture, basketball here in the Northwest, joining us at the table in Seattle. And you take a look as your son takes over a program. Basically, Don had to replace the whole bloody roster, and to see him playing like this and to see his guys playing like this in their 5th game of the year has got to make you proud.
Encouraging, and I expected maybe not quite the effort and quite the score, but we let Detman get away here a little bit at the end.
Well, what do you notice about the way that Dan has gone about handling this team? Again, he had to replace 10 guys on the roster, but they seem to be playing, Don, with a great deal of confidence.
Like I say, it's encouraging. I haven't seen him play before. This is the first time. I watched him practice, and I told Dan, I said, hey, just keep working with him, and I think things are going to get progressively better, and I think they have. I didn't see him play the first couple of weeks, so but it's encouraging to know.
Well, Coach, they were down 18. What did you tell your son to turn this ball game around?
Hey, you got any sons? You don't tell them anything. They don't listen.
They don't listen.
No.
That's all.
Yeah, you tell them, just don't listen.
Well, he picked up some stuff somewhere.
Well, their plan was to zone and try to keep the ball out, Bachman and inside, make him hit from outside. Well, they only hit about the first 6 or 7.
So if he didn't learn from his old man, then who did he listen to? I know you and Judd Heathcote go a long way back.
Yeah, long way. 58 years, something like that. And I remember talking to Marv and about that long with him too. But
so Dan's coaching influences would include Judd, probably more.
Oh yeah. Dan's been around Judd and myself, and not Marv so much, but.
Now, the one thing you might want to give him for Denman is a length of rope. Because right now that seems to be the only thing.
Yeah, well, he put him and Brockman on the same side, and they got to do something. They keep coming to hammering back, though. I wondered when we started whether we could make a lay-in or not, and then I wondered if we could get a rebound, and all of a sudden I thought we got killed on the boards. I look at half, and it was 21-all, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was,
I don't know where. I guess you get a little paralyzed. When you're watching your one team too much, I guess.
Donovan Morris has the chance for the 3-point play. Morris, again, a guy shooting only 29% on the season, but at this moment stands with 9 points on 4 of 8 shooting, and he's also contributed 3 of those 25 Long Beach State rebounds.
And Coach, your son's got to be thrilled with the amount of no quit in this team to come back from 18 against a pretty strong Washington team.
Exactly, Bob. I think that's what, particularly when you're taking over a program and you're trying to get them to buy into what you're doing, and you don't have very many kids back, so they have bought in, I think. And I think they've just played extremely hard, whether they've made shots or missed shots or rebounded or whatnot. But the big thing and positive thing you can take away from it is their even the bench. They just got a lot of enthusiasm, and I think they're only going to get better because of it.
As you came up the coaching ladder, Marv Harshman, is this true that he indirectly got you into coaching college ball?
No, it was Judd.
It was Judd.
Yeah, no, it was Judd. Judd called me twice. I was in high school at Pasco, and I was going to, when he went to Montana, he asked me to do that, and I said, no, I'm staying in high school. Then when he went to Michigan State, then that's when I got into the big time, so-called big time stuff.
And you know, you go all the way back like that. Look at that kaboom, Darnell Porter.
You know, maybe it's that hoop over here on our right. You know,
I don't know.
because Washington didn't miss a three down there.
That guy looked like, I mean, they look like he could make those all day.
You know, 6 out of 9. The 49ers are from 3. This is a team that came into the ball game shooting 24% in their first 4 games.
Must be the. I always like to play in this place. I wouldn't win that often, but I had my best times, I think, in a state tournament. I brought Pascal right in this gym a couple times for the state championship.
49ers have not led tonight. The only tie of the game was at 9-all, and that was with not even 5 minutes to go in this ball game.
Yeah, at least they're hanging in there. You know, I think Dan and myself, we're a little concerned about getting embarrassed, you know, because they really got beat bad by BYU at home. But then they played a little better all the time. So.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
I'm just glad I'm not coaching. That's all.
Well, fellas, don't look now, but it is a one-possession game, and a field goal ties 3-pointers, gives Long Beach State its first lead of the night. And on the reverse, we do have a tie ball game. Donovan Morris scoring.
You know, you mentioned the zone earlier. The one thing that did do, though, you kept your bigs out of foul trouble.
It did.
Trying to defend Bob.
It did.
And that's going to be important going down the stretch.
It always is. You know that. Well, keep those bigs out of foul trouble when you can. It did help then. And hey, we're encouraged. We forced Romar into his zone now out there. He didn't handle him man for man for quite a bit. But, you know, this little guy, holy Toledo. I mean, he gets that way, doesn't he? I mean, you guys have watched.
I don't know
gets
if I've
on a
ever
hot
seen
streak
it this hot.
I don't either. How come he had to get this hot tonight?
22 points for Denman, 15 here in the second half. Don Munson, you know, you had a better seat over on the other side. Fleming is caught in the trees underneath. That is going to be a held ball. Possession arrow favors the Huskies. And you know, it's got to be hard because you've given your life to the game, and it's got to be hard sitting up here yakking when you'd probably rather be back behind the bench.
No, I think I would rather be just way up in the middle up there and then not clear away from everything.
Yeah,
tell you the truth.
Oh, the shooter's roll from 3 for Joel Smith. 4 of 5 tonight. All 4 of his field goals. 4 out of 4. Beyond the arc, 5-point game. Don, thank you so very much.
You bet.
For taking the time.
Hey, good to hear you guys and listen to you guys. Keep up the good work. You know, you got to keep working.
Oh, yeah,
always. At least some of us.
Good seeing you, Coach.
Yeah, you know, over in Spokane, where Judd Heathcote also makes his home. You know, Harshman and Heathcote coached together at Washington State. There are so many guys over on that side. There's Coach right there, the Hall of Famer Marv Harshman, a longtime coach here at the University of Washington. Had a great run also in Pullman. I would love to go to breakfast over in Spokane. Sometimes you get guys like that. You get, and now listen, you get Harshman. Every now and then he and Heathcote still see each other. You get guys like that. Heathcote, you get Mark Few, you get Don Munson. Wow. Now, meantime, back at the ranch, Justin Dentman has really willed the Huskies to this 5-point advantage. Joel Smith chipping in just a moment ago.
And the amazing thing that the Long Beach State's still in the game with shooting like they've shot.
23 out of 50 on the night. Let's see, 23 out of 50. That would make them 11 out of 17 from the floor here in the second half. Dentman's career high is 24 points. He has 22.
Back to man now.
There's something else.
Back to turnover.
Be charged with a turnover. One of the things that I think needs to be pointed out here, Gant coming off the bench 26 games last year. They only had 4 guys that played last year for Long Beach State. Those 4 guys combined for 98 points total of nearly 2,600 points scored by a 24-18. 98 points out of 25-75. That's not even 4%. They're trying to replace 96% of their scoring from last year. Overton.
And it's probably like that in every category. You're talking about rebounding, you're talking about defenders. You're just putting a lot of inexperience out there, and they're doing a great job tonight.
Here's the free throw story. It's worth noting that Long Beach State has 4 men in double figures, led by Gant's 15. Washington led by Dentman's 22 and Brockman's 10. Oh, don't forget Smith with 12. But Washington with 3 players in double figures, and Overton a little bit quiet tonight. 1 out of 2. Both those shots 3-pointers. 2 out of 6 from the line. Gant charge as he bowls over Brian Ammoning, and so the last couple of times he's touched the ball, Artis Gant has turned it over. A 6-point lead, getting late. 8 minutes, just a little bit less at Bank of America Arena. Brian Davis and Bob Weiss on the campus of the University of Washington, where Justin Dentman has scored 17 of the Huskies' 26 points here in the second half. He's 6 out of 6. Washington defensively starting to show some moxie.
Well, here you'll see the overplay. They always want to overplay, and why can they be confident? Because they know the weak side is going to be there to take that charge if you break them down.
Overton brings it up. 4 assists for Benoit Overton tonight. Gets it back from Smith. Nice no-look pass inside of Brockman. Is triple teamed and turns it over. Possession arrow favors Long Beach State on the held ball.
May take Morris a little time to recover there. Brockman dove on him to get that jump ball.
Something that strikes me here is the speed at which Long Beach State is getting over to help defensively. All of a sudden, I mean, Brockman for a moment had a chance to put that ball on the floor and go up to the rack with it, and all of a sudden he had 3 guys.
He did have 3. And they were on him so tight he couldn't make the pass to the open man under the basket.
Brandon Johnson leading Artis Gant up the floor. Here's Johnson looking inside for Donovan Morris, scoring.
Nice drive by Morris.
Washington State is 10 out of 12 from the floor. Brockman is tied up and fouled by Johnson, but that's Washington is 10 out of 12. Long Beach State is 12 out of 18, so they've had a half a dozen more shots.
I'm not sure where those are coming from.
Now, 7 minutes remaining. Washington is now shooting the super bonus because that is the 10th team foul against Long Beach State.
Well, they've managed to get the ball inside and get more fouls this half. You haven't seen Long Beach State in as much of the zone because every time they go into it, Washington's hitting the threes.
Now, on the other hand, 6 out of 18 are the Huskies on charity.
Yeah, that's one area that's hurting them badly.
They still have a couple of fouls to give with this 4-point lead. Johnson gets a rub from Freeman, spins into the edge of the lane, and Brian Ammoning forced him to change his shot. Overton in transition. Pondexter looking for his first field goal. Great time to get it.
That's not really his shot, but he said, hey, that bucket must be big tonight, so I'm going to throw one up there.
Drawn kick. Bang. He caught a little rim, though. His wasn't as good as somebody else.
Washington's distribution of the basketball has not been nearly what it was at the beginning of the game, and This one against the Huskies. That's Overton's personal.
5 out of their first 6 were assists. 5 out of the first 6 baskets made were assists, and it's been very low ever since.
Yeah, 11 to 27. By the way, you mentioned Quincy Pondexter. Right at the very beginning of the ball game, his dad Roscoe and his uncle Cliff played at Long Beach State. Cliff went on to play in the National Basketball Association for a while. Roscoe is in the house tonight, probably sweating along with the rest of the Husky faithful. Off the ball, the clear out called against Darnell Porter.
I don't know how he thought he'd get away with that.
Now that's the 3rd foul on Porter. Here's what I like. Do we have a shot? Can we find Roscoe in the house? Yeah. I love seeing the before and after. You know, the before when he had hair. Kind of like you and me.
Yeah. Except I don't know if I ever had hair.
It's just a distant memory. Oh, Brockman setting a pick on Gant, reached in. I don't know about that, but Tim Gabatero, the official, absolutely adamant on the call.
Yeah, moving pick is what they called. We'll see if it.
2 personals on Brockman. If you want to look at the evolution of his game, in addition to his defensive prowess, hang on to it. Oh. Wow. Brandon Johnson dove in there and actually had the last touch on the ball.
Yeah, that ball was going out. It was going to be Long Beach State's ball.
That's not a good sign when your percentage from 3 is better than your percentage from the free throw line.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
do the math. Huh?
Well, I suppose that's true. But maybe that'll be a point of emphasis. Remember, the Huskies don't play then until this weekend. They're off for most of the rest of the week. And Brockman's got a little cramp, I think, with Charlie Horse in that calf, so he stretches that out and now will come back to play more. Last I checked, he was the leader in this ball game in minutes played. He has barely been off the floor, and reaching in is Porter, putting Washington back on the free throw line. This will be Denton. 4 fouls now on Darnell Porter.
And, you know, they can't let this game slip. Their focus is leaving them. Offensive foul down on one end by Porter, and then he comes down here and he fouls Denman way out away from the ball, and they're in the penalty. So that's 2 mental mistakes that hurt you badly.
Justin Denman, a 74% free throw shooter, but he's caught the bug that is ailing the rest of his teammates tonight.
He's out of his range. He should move back past the 3.
Oh, by the way, Ryan Appleby halfway between the top of the arc and the midcourt strike as Denton blows both of them, and Freeman comes away with it. Wow, 6 out of 20.
I talked to Appleby before the game. He's shooting the ball with that cast on. He said, I can't use my thumb, but I can still make.
Well, he's got a flexible cast now, and it's only right down to his wrist, so he's all right.
Well, he can flex the wrist, but it's on his hand coming away from the wrist.
I actually had an assist on one of those long threes today, going the other way. Huskies basketball, another turnover, 16 now against Long Beach State. I had an assist. It was a terrible pass. I put it behind him and low, and he still scooped it up and fired and knocked it down. Just like butter.
Shooters don't care where they get it. Just give it to me.
Denton. Not a lot of conscience in that play. Offensive board. Brian Amening. Boy, these close calls, you've talked about it on the other end, Long Beach State, but at least Pondexter comes away with the offensive board, but they missed another 3 shots right there.
Yeah. This is a weird game. They can't make free throws or layups, but they're drilling those 3s.
Whatever works on a given night. Denton well covered. Pondexter coming off a double-double, only 4 points tonight, a 3-point shot and a free throw, spinning in the lane. Brian Amening still having trouble shooting that ball on the move. Bullet pass inside. Overton to Brian Amening, +1.
See, that's another mental mistake. That's where you want to grab him. He's got automatic 2 points. You want to grab his arms and make him earn them from the free throw line. You don't bump him in the back and give him a chance at a 3-point play. But great hustle by the Washington team.
Here's we get to the final 4 minutes of regulation. Ryan Omening, Overton, Dentman, Pondexter, and Brockman on the floor for Washington. Freeman, Porter, Gant. Oh, another one. That's just oof. Morris, Donovan Morris, and Williams for the 49ers. Gant going coast to coast. Brockman gets up to knock it down, but contact before. A blocking foul and 2 free throws for Artis Gant. Washington on a 12-2 run the last 5 minutes and change.
In volleyball, it's called a spike. You know, it's funny with free throws. When guys start missing, it's like getting the flu. Everybody in the team catches it. You start missing them, everybody misses them. You start out a game where somebody hits the first 3, it seems like everybody can make them. You step up there and shoot them easier.
So if you're coaching, how do you try to get your guys out of that?
You know what? That's what everybody's been trying to answer for years.
How would you do it?
Oh, you just, hey. You know, it's funny how coaches practice free throws. Some coaches don't ever even have guys go to the line and practice and shoot it because they don't want them thinking about it. They just want them to step up there and shoot the ball. And I've seen teams be very, very effective at that. Other teams will make you, practice it and practice it and practice it. But, you know, any team can go into a coma with it. There's no easy answer to get out.
Washington has recovered its offensive rhythm and has reestablished a 9-point lead. FSN and the Sonics dance team invite you to a viewing party for the debut of the making of the 08 Sonics dance team calendar. That followed by the Sonics' big matchup with Kobe Bryant and the Lakers from the Staples Center. Giveaways throughout the evening. Dance team members on hand for autographs. 6:30 tomorrow night at the Fox Sports Grill in downtown Seattle. I would be there, but I'll be in LA.
Okay.
Long Beach State, you take a look at the free throw numbers, not pretty at all. But Long Beach State, one of the things, big picture here, Bob, that they've done in the second half, they have, for the most part, dictated the tempo to the Huskies and Brockman the streak breaker.
Well, they've done it in a couple different ways. Number one, that they forced Washington to go into a zone at times, and so then they could operate the game. But they've really controlled the ball pretty well for having no real point guards. They've only got 16 turnovers in this game against a tremendous amount of pressure, so that's not a bad number.
Inside.
There's another one. Oh.
Yeah, and Morris thought that Freeman would be down there, and he
had an open man in the corner too, so it was a doubly bad play. Whenever you drive like that, you want to make the easiest pass you can make. Just get a shot. Tried to be cute and go for the layup.
Pondexter in the late stages, not scoring much, but scoring in a timely fashion tonight for Washington.
And this game is slowly slipping into Washington's hands.
Huskies, after playing decently but falling short against Texas A&M and Syracuse, in position to go to 4-2 on the season. They'll go to Oklahoma State, play on the weekend, and then come back and play 6 out of 7 here at the Bank of America Arena. And we have not seen Greg Plater, the true freshman out of Salem, Oregon, for a long time in transition. His former AAU playing buddy, Benoit Overton, with the finish. 16-2 now. Washington has outscored the 49ers down the stretch, and Dan Monson needs time.
You know, it's almost like there have been some unforced errors too, just mental mistakes by Long Beach State. That an offensive foul here, a bad foul there, and then you throw the ball away a couple times when you had a man open. But you can't take away from the defensive effort by Washington. They always keep pressure on you, and eventually that's what happens sometimes. You just crack.
We just saw the Apple Cup here, the 100th edition of the football game, the classic between the Cougars and the Huskies. Bill Doba stepping aside today after winning what will go down as one of the greatest in the series. But we've also got the hardwood version coming up just after New Year's. Jude Doherty leads the Cougars in their first Pac-10 game against her former team. She's a longtime coach here at the University of Washington, and then it will be Romar versus Bennett on the 5th, 7 o'clock on FSN. So Huskies and Cougs time 2 as they open the Pac-10 schedule. And again for Washington, for the men, that completes that run out of 6 out of 7. Meantime, Munson takes his team to St. Louis University to play Rick Majerus and the Billikens this weekend. Now, let's go back, though, quickly to Washington State. When was the last time you saw the Cougars rated higher than Duke?
The last time? Just now.
Long Beach State scoreless the last nearly 3 minutes.
Yeah, I love Coach Bennett and what he's done with that team. I like those players because I like the way they win. They are a blue-collar team, and they execute. They play defense. It's a great team effort, and I really enjoy watching them play.
Overton initiating the rebound sequence. Brockman can't quite chase it down. January 5th. Let's see, the women play on the 4th, and the men here on the 5th. And, of course, you and I will have one of the best seats in the house.
That'll be great.
Bringing that game to our fans on FSN. Time is beginning to work against the 49ers now as well, this 14-point lead. And you can pretty much, at this point, book it for the Huskies, but give Long Beach State a ton of credit. And again, Freeman, great recognition and finding Darnell Porter for the finish. 15 assists on 25 made baskets. That is a real trend reversal for Long Beach State. Meantime, only 13 helpers on 30 field goals for the Huskies. Brockman now. 13 points, 9 rebounds. And at the other end, he takes the hit to make the play. Draws the charge. Offensive foul.
You know, it just seems like there were more assists than that. I don't know if they got them all, because I know, most of those passes to Brockman, he takes a 3, but still, that's an assist.
Well, some of them though were pass comes in, they misses the first shot, gets the offensive board, and then scores. Porter. Oh, the cleanup for Williams as Joel Smith very nearly had the block at the rim. Not much expected from Long Beach State this year. I saw one poll in which they were expected to finish dead last after winning their conference a year ago. I'll tell you right now, let me go on record, and of course this is not very brave. It doesn't take much courage to predict that Munson and company are going to surprise some people.
I think they will, and I think 3 or 4 years you're going to see a great program here.
Von Dexter. How about a 4-point play to finish tonight?
This night's not finished. They're going to hit 3 more threes before this game's over. Here he is. Good draw, kick. Bang.
Fouled by Williams. And fouled hard. I guess if you're going to hit a guy, you might as well make it count. But a 4-point play here, the chance for Pondexter.
If that was in the street, it would have been a hit and run. He just got ran over.
He's got it. Wolfinger replacing Brockman. Justin Holiday on the floor for Pondexter. A lot of Pac-10 basketball coming up this weekend. USC ×2. And on Thursday nights, especially during conference season, double headers here on FSN, and we go wall to wall on Saturdays. Of course, we'll see you for the high school championships on Friday and Saturday night from the Tacoma Dome. O'Day will play Skyline, a 3A game, and then Bothell in the championship game last year. Bothell against Lewis and Clark, which dressed 37 guys for the semifinal, the upset of Edmonds Woodway. Oh, Detman for Wolfinger would have been a nice exclamation point. Smith is knocked down along the baseline, and he'll shoot a couple of free throws.
Well, Long Beach got to be, happy with. They're going to be disappointed with the way this thing ended, but to come back from 18 and get into this ball game and stay in it as long as they did, I thought they did a great job tonight.
One negative tonight as Artis Gant sits with his team high 15 points and wonders what might have been. This is an all-time team low for Washington in free throw percentage, 8 out of 24. Now, that is pending Smith's offerings here. Darnell Porter has fouled out, and so he's getting the business from the student section here at the Bank of America Arena. 12 points he finishes. One of 5 Long Beach State players in double-figure scoring. And you know what? In the end, Bob, the 49ers have a 33-32 advantage on the glass. Smith kind of sealing that all-time worst percentage. Little garbage time basket for Chris Pays. But that'll be it. 15 points, the final margin, as Washington recovers, led by 18. Long Beach State came all the way back to tie the ball game, but then Denton lost his mind, scored 10 consecutive points for the Huskies. They pull away to win.
Oh, he was outstanding. I mean, this game could have been lost if he didn't go on that streak. But you know, hitting threes, hitting twos, drives, free throw. Well, I'm sorry, I don't know if he got a free throw, but Denton did it all in that stretch.
Right. And he finishes with 22 points to lead all scores in this game. Smith with 13 on 4 out of 4 3-point shooting. Ryan Omening with 11. Pondexter with 10. Most of those in the second half. Brockman with 13. All right, so we'll see you next time. It all works out if you're a Huskies fan. A 15-point victory over Long Beach State. Now for Bob Weiss and the rest of our crew here at the Bank of America Arena. Brian Davis saying so long. Thanks for joining us. The campus of the University of Washington.